there's some big news over in Europe. And some of the biggest being Sonia Bompastor extends with Chelsea to 2030. Now, this comes as a surprise to a lot of people. A lot of people are thinking, no, we're not shocked. This makes a lot of sense. I'm like, did the Portland Thorns even try to hire her? Did they know that she was up for grabs? Did they put in an offer? Because I think that would have been a great move, but we're staying in Europe. She's staying with the team. Sandra, how are we feeling about Sonia locking in with Chelsea for more years to come?
I respect it. I won't say it makes me feel great, just because, like, as someone who's found themselves rooting for the Blues in the past, it's a moment of transition that folks I think aren't used to. Anytime the low moments are low, you're gonna feel low with it. But I also sort of feel in recent Chelsea history, this isn't too brand new. We saw them kind of go through some, adverse moments, last season, and still found their ways through them. But I think when you look at a re-signing like this or an extension like this for a coach, it just sort of it's a stabilizing factor. At the very least, it's like, this is going to be the coach leading the team for X amount of years, and I respect it in the sense where she's coming at this. You could sort of see the former player jump out of her at times.
Yeah.
When she's kind of addressing any of the calls for change or the calls for the hot seat or how high is that temperature, and she's just like, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because to your earlier kind of quip or point, Darian, it's like this is pro business. This is pro sporting business. It's poaching. Like anybody can poach. Anybody can put some feelers out there, and yeah, she's correct when she says, yeah, go ahead. You need to move on for me.
I love that.
Yeah,
I kind of love that attitude. I think it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but I'm like, the way that women's football is, it's a legitimate business. You're gonna go where you're wanted, where you can make an impact that fits best for you. And I like that you put it too, Sandra. Like the former player came out, like, yeah, do it. I'll be okay. Yeah. I'll figure it out. I've got the pedigree to do what I want. Yeah. Let's see. Do you still want this? And of course they did. Jen, you're smirking over there. Do you have kind of the similar sentiment with that?
Yeah, I do. And I also think that, I mean, especially in England, I think we've seen the likes of Gareth Taylor, be sacked from Man City. There's been a lot that is coming into this phase of the standard is now set higher for managers. Because I think the pressure is now on players, and the exposure, growth of the game, everything now equates to managers. Sonia Bompastor, I think, is up there with Mark Skinner now as one of the longest standing managers in the WSL, which is kind of crazy because that means it's really short.
Very
right? Short. So that for me is, I love her comments because I think she understands that, right? She understands the way the world that women's football is in now, that what Chelsea now demands is performances and results and everything that comes along with that, trophies. She's been there, done it with Lyon. That's why I kind of love her and why she has that attitude. She knows she can achieve that. And look, at the end of the day, she had a phenomenal first season, and I think this is her first dip, and I think she still backs her team. She still backs her philosophy. And I was no surprise whatsoever to see that extension. I kind of love the way she comes across.
I do too.
Performances. She has this really lovely balance of confidence, but still personal, that you can kind of get and understand. So no, I wasn't surprised whatsoever. I think Chelsea have a lot of injuries. I think a dip was kind of bound to happen. You can't be unbeaten forever.
Yeah.
And 2 games back to back in the WSL, okay, not great. But they brought it back already. They won it the weekend. I think they've still got so much quality in that dressing room, and I still think she's, from an outsider's perspective, right? No one really knows the inside info of what it's like to be managed by her, but I still think she's been so successful, and it's a great move from Chelsea extending her.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what else she does. But that's not the only move that Chelsea has made.
Yeah.
As of today,
yeah,
Paul Green has left his role as head of women's football at Chelsea. Now, from my understanding, Paul Green is somebody that's been a part of what we know of Chelsea women's football DNA. The most winningest team, the most successful, bringing in depth, talent from all over the world, developing this into one of the stalwarts of what it means to be a professional women's football club globally. What does this mean, Jen? I mean, you're kind of the one that's played over there, that has a little bit more familiarity with his role and what he actually did for this club. What does this change mean for Chelsea?
It means you have, I mean, let's be honest, he was there 13 years, and I think he was the face of recruitment that has led Chelsea to where it is now. And I think recruitment has been absolutely everything. I think Chelsea have, I can say, dominated the domestic field of English football for the best part of 10 years. I think, you know, their back-to-back seasons, you can't ignore any of that. When you think of Paul Green, you have to also think of Emma Hayes, that duo of what they built at Chelsea, of working together. And also, I always say this, how many GMs do you know that have left the role and you've seen an abundance of players speak out so positively? I think is so rare. So when you have the likes of Sam Kerr, Millie Bright, Frank Kirby, all of these top players that have worked under them for so long, Guru Wright, and there you go, that have been players at Chelsea for a number of years, not just a couple of seasons. So they've seen, and as a player, you never really know the ins and outs, but when you were there and involved and you see the recruitment, you see the operations, you know the people that are being employed at a staff level, you see the physios, you see the trainers, you see the coaches, absolutely everyone. And in women's football world, guys, that's a small world. You have quite an easy contact to Paul Green. So I think these kind of roles are undervalued, but I think what he's done and the amount of people that have spoken out at how gutted they are to see him leave, for me, speaks everything you would need to know about who this guy is, what he represents, the culture he's built, the players he's brought in, how he's treated them when they are brought in, the contract negotiations, absolutely everything. So I think he'll be a big miss to Chelsea. I don't think there's any correlation to what Bompastor was saying about recruitment to then this. I don't think there's a connection there. I think he will be really sorely missed at Chelsea, but what a phenomenal job he has done building the club alongside other people, of course. It's not been just him, but it's opened up a gap for Chelsea to refill, to be honest, when it comes to recruitment and who they're bringing in and keeping that sustained success, which is what this club is built on.
Yeah, I'm glad you sort of touched on that a little bit, like how there's more of a disconnect there, you know, between the extension for Bompastor and his departure. Yeah. That's a lot of times the optics don't look great, and a lot of times when the optics don't look great, like that likely means that it's just maybe something that has been ongoing or in discussions. I mean, like when you look at Chelsea as kind of like this entity, like we're talking about like changes maybe in DNA, culture shifts. I mean, you're looking at a club just as a brand, you know, like, and you're looking at these next steps. Like, are these just like Clear Lake decisions, you know, the majority ownership entity, you know, firm? Like, are they just trying to make these decisions, you know, moving forward? And those are, when you kind of like bring that layer into it, it's like, yeah, those things, there's probably more of a disconnect there than an actual connection between an extension versus a departure. But, you know, to all your points, Jen, I mean, there's no doubt that this departure, like, you're looking for that next step. Like, where is this going to mean for Paul, and where is he going to go next, and who's going to snatch him up?
Also, what does this mean for the players that are on the cusp of, you know, contracts expiring or they have expired? What does this mean for another new era of Chelsea? We saw that Emma Hayes to Sonia Bompastor, now Paul Green to, what does this mean for everybody else? I think we're going to see a lot of change.
Yeah, I mean, I know Chelsea have their sporting directors, so that will still be in place for that. But you're spot on. Who will replace them? Or is his role being diffused elsewhere? Don't know, but time will tell.
Time will tell. Well, we'll be here to report on it as soon as we know. Also, in other news, NBA All-Star legend Giannis is a new minority in Chelsea. Chelsea's racking up celebrity ownership, might I add. Chelsea, I feel like, is the angel city of the WSL, where it's like celebrity, major corporation, celebrity. I love that high-profile athletes are investing back into sport, and especially women's sports, especially women's football. Are you guys hyped that we kind of keep seeing these higher profile people investing into major clubs like this?
I want more of it. honestly. I love, look, I know we're having fun with Madonna, and I know conceptually, like, who doesn't want to see like an incredible musician or incredible, like, an actor, sitting on the sidelines. But there's something about like the pro athlete crossover, I think, that hits a little different. Like, there's always that relatability, I think, when you think
Mhm.
athlete to athlete, so I'm loving it. I want to see more of it, and I think we are gonna, like, we're already seeing a lot of it, and I know we'll see more of it. I mean, Caleb Williams, I think, also like bought into Boston Legacy, a little while
Oh
back.
yeah.
So we're definitely seeing that athlete to athlete crossover for sure.
Yeah. All positive for me. No notes. Nothing to add. I think it's awesome. I think any investment, is great to see put back into the game, and I think it just filters down to everyone as well. So it's like a
Yeah.
ripple effect. As soon as you see one high profile person, I think that just, I don't know, it just breeds positivity about what everyone's doing, and it's awesome. So I have no notes and thoughts. That was my only add-on.
I'd love to see
It's
it for
great.
like other clubs too, but I think that's part of it, right? Like, you get like
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
really high profile
Filters
athletes
down,
going with
I
like a
think.
high profile club, and it's like, before you know it, like, who knows, like, maybe you get like a middle profile, athlete, like, going with like a middle profile club, like,
Maybe we'll see like the Wrexham story on the women's side in some way.
yeah, exactly. We'll see it. Let's go.